Hello, I'm Commissioner Emma Darnell, District 6. Welcome to Mighty Six Conversations. As you know, Conversations is an information and communication program that focuses on what we call the sustainable community. Economically strong, environmentally safe, with liberty and justice for all. Today's conversation is going to involve 3 or 4 of the top areas of constituent concern in District 6. Health, safety, mobility. Specifically, we're going to talk about Fulton County's T-SPLOST program, which we partner with the City of South Fulton, and Fulton County's General Transportation program. We'll be back in a moment. Joining me in the conversation today is Fulton County's Chief Operating Officer, Todd Long. Good afternoon, Mr. Long.
Hello, Mr. Darnell.
It's good to have you back with us. We talk about it, but it's the staff that gets it done.
That's right.
So it's always good to have you and other members of your staff to join with us in these conversations, because as all of you know, the bottom line is getting it done. We're going to talk about the roads program today, Fulton County's roads program, and of course the program that we are very interested in, since all of our voters went to the polls and paid to have the T-SPLOST program, which of course we work with the City of South Fulton for that. At the time we developed the T-SPLOST list, though, and program, we were still unincorporated, South Fulton, weren't we?
We were.
So we might want to start on that. Can we start on that first?
Sure.
Because I think that there's a lot of information that folks need in terms of T-SPLOST, how we developed it, and what was the impact of the incorporation. How does that happen? Because Fulton County technically doesn't have a T-SPLOST program, but we developed. So let's talk about that, because I think that wherever we can, we need to explain what the impact of the incorporation was, because folks see the same people and the same, So let's begin with that, if you don't mind, Todd, and we'll come back and we'll just go where you'd like to go, so that people understand where we are and where we are going when it comes to our roads programs.
Right. Well, let's step back in time a little bit. So,
yes, that'll be good.
Really, about a year and a half ago, the General Assembly passed legislation that allowed Fulton County to vote on T-SPLOST. Now, it was a little bit unique in Fulton. We divided up the county in the City of Atlanta and then the area outside of the City of Atlanta. Atlanta makes up about 43% of the population of the county, of about 1 million people. So Atlanta decided through their legislation to go after a 0.4 cents sales tax for transportation. The rest of Fulton decided on 0.75 cents. Now, we've never had a fractional penny in the history of Georgia on sales tax. This is the first one. So on the ballot last November, there was a ballot for Atlanta residents and then a ballot for the rest of Fulton. Both jurisdictions, Atlanta and the rest of Fulton, passed their T-SPLOST. So effective in April 1st of this year, collections began on 0.75 for the rest of Fulton outside of Atlanta and 0.4 for Atlanta. Now, Atlanta also passed another half penny for MARTA, but let's focus on T-SPLOST today. So for us, that meant the rest of Fulton bringing in revenue of about really $570 million over 5 years. So we're talking about a lot of money to do a lot.
That's all of Fulton.
That's all of Fulton outside of Atlanta. Now you combine that with what GDOT is pumping into Fulton County over the next 4 or 5 years, which is in the billions, then we can really move the needle on transportation. So GDOT's focusing in on the interstates, the larger roads, and the T-SPLOST, generally speaking, is focused in on more local roads. For instance, intersection improvements, road resurfacing, turn lane
Subdivision
additions.
resurfacing?
Subdivision resurfacing. Oh,
That's
my
a
goodness.
big one.
We get lots of complaints about subdivisions
Yeah.
that were started by
Uh-huh.
a developer. The developer left town or went bankrupt,
Yeah.
and they've got that last little half inch to do. So we're excited. So the money started coming in essentially back through collections in April, and we're in the, I guess, the 6th month now of collections. Now this is what's interesting. In Fulton County, we decided to split the money up evenly among all the cities, all right, based on population.
That's
So
important.
A prorated portion.
Based on population.
That's right, a prorated portion of the funds based on their population percentage of the area that we calculated from. Now, you asked a question a minute ago, what about the unincorporated versus the city? So all this was going on at the same time there was a vote for cityhood.
Yes.
So, which added a layer of complexity to it. Not
really.
No, people didn't know exactly. So, unincorporated Fulton, what we always called unincorporated Fulton, which is down in the South Fulton area, most of that became the city of South Fulton, except for the one small piece
FIB.
of Fulton Industrial Boulevard that's
Yes.
still unincorporated today. But the rest of
Can I just stop you there?
Yes.
So really what was called unincorporated South Fulton for T-SPLOST purposes when we were developing the list and so on, after incorporation, most of that area is now the city of South Fulton, except for FIB. So when we say unincorporated Fulton County in the context of T-SPLOST,
Right.
we mean before incorporation.
That is
Because
exactly right.
after incorporation, what we were calling unincorporated Fulton County for T-SPLOST purposes now became the city of South Fulton, except for Fulton Industrial Boulevard.
That is exactly correct. You've
Yeah,
explained
that's
that
the little part that we would need to get clear.
You've explained it very well. And the project selection process all happened before the incorporation occurred.
That's another important point.
So we went through an elaborate process. We got a lot of public
Public
input.
participation,
And
heavy.
we asked everybody what they thought, and we came up with a list which we felt like was good. And that's the list that now has to be delivered because the voters did vote in favor of T-SPLOST. So we're delivering those projects chosen actually before the city of South Fulton even existed.
One other little clarification on that point. And when we were holding public hearings and public participation and developing those lists, those were, at that time, the folks were residents of unincorporated Fulton County.
That's right.
All right. But now,
Right.
most of those folks are residents of the city of South Fulton.
That's correct.
So that means that the residents of the city of South Fulton participate. These were the ones
Right.
who helped develop that list.
That's
Is that right?
That's right.
So they already know what the list is
That's
because
right.
they helped develop it.
It's the same people, essentially.
Same people. Yeah.
So
Okay.
what we're doing now under contract with the city of South Fulton is we're delivering those projects on behalf of the city of South Fulton now. We signed an intergovernmental agreement to deliver fire service, police service, parks and rec, and transportation over the next really over a period of time to be determined based on how they can transition those services
But
over
not
to the
longer
city.
than November of 2018.
Correct.
Is that correct?
The law allows them to go up to November of 18. We
Can it be less?
That's right. It cannot be less.
What about T-SPLOST?
So T-SPLOST, though, is actually identified in the agreement, and we are to identify that. We are to deliver those projects until such time they get a transportation department of their own.
So they're
to
under
deliver
the
them.
same
They're under the same guidance.
umbrella.
That's right.
Yes, but not longer. We administer it now by
That's correct.
contract. But we won't be administering T-SPLOST any longer than November of 2018.
That is correct.
Yeah, all right.
So
Okay.
so far it's working out great. We're keeping both our county
Good.
commissioners updated, and we'll keep the city of South Fulton updated. So we're excited. Our first projects, we've collected about 5 months worth of proceeds, which is about $6.5 million. So we're starting our first projects. We've been designing some projects. Our first project out of the chute is going to be a resurfacing project, which is really
Great.
It's probably, I know it sounds sometimes not as important to have a resurfacing project, but
Oh, it sounds very important to the residents of District 6.
I think so too.
I can assure you.
It is a much needed project, and this one just happens to be on New Hope Road, but we've got many more miles of resurfacing scheduled.
Miles
besides
to go, as we often say.
Miles to go. That's right.
Yes, that's good. And I think that it's very, very important too to make the point that actually the funding from the state to Fulton County for the purpose of T-SPLOST the funding comes directly
Right.
to the county or to the city? It comes to the county since we have responsibility for administering the contract?
Right. So what Department of Revenue does, they distribute, they get the proceeds come to them every month, just like any other sales tax, and they deliver that back out to the cities. But in our case, since we have an intergovernmental agreement to deliver those projects, that money is delivered straight to Fulton County to deliver the projects.
That was an area that we needed to clarify.
Yeah.
The funds are delivered to Fulton County.
Right.
Only though for the purpose of implementing
That's
the
right.
program.
Right.
It's not like the other funds we get from the Department of Revenue,
That's right.
which we spend based on Fulton County's priorities
That's right.
and agenda.
Right.
It's a little different this time. The funds actually belong to the city of South Fulton, but because we are administering the contract, we get the funds. Is that right?
It is right.
That's not oversimplification.
No, I
hope.
think
I'm
you're right.
known to be guilty of that.
Now, there is a little bit of money set aside across the entire county that Fulton County uses to do
That's what
program-
I want to talk
Yeah.
about. We're going to have to take a break, though, right
Okay.
now, Todd. We want to get to that when we come back. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back in a moment. Mr. Long, you were saying that in addition to the funds which are really set aside for City of South Fulton with respect to T-SPLOS, there was another kind of pot. That would you tell us about that? Because we have responsibility for an unincorporated area too, and it's not a road; it's
Right.
people.
Right.
It's
That's
people.
right.
It's people out there. It's not just not a street. There are people in that area.
Right. So
Okay.
let's kind of talk
What
about
about them and their resurfacing?
All right. So unincorporated Fulton, the piece that's remaining along Fulton Industrial Boulevard, has several projects on the list. So that
I see.
those
They're
projects
on the list.
those projects have to be built out of the money that was collected for the boundaries of former unincorporated Fulton, which includes now the new city. So when you take all that money together, those projects have to be
Sure,
built.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Now there is another small 0.5% overall Fulton County that is
That's the part I wanted to find out
that
about.
Fulton County does have responsibility to do overall program oversight. So in other words, not that we're delivering the projects of Johns Creek or East Point, but our job is to make sure the money's all across the board is being spent in a way that's
And we have to pay folks to do that.
right. So we're going to do an annual audit.
Yeah.
We have formed a Citizens Oversight Committee, which is represented by every
Everybody.
city. And that oversight committee's already had
That includes all cities too, right?
every city in the
North and South.
That's correct. So they've already met twice. So we're
That's a good
developing
group.
overall tracking software. And we're going to develop an overall web page so that you can. So it doesn't matter if you're in East Point, Chattahoochee Hills, or South Fulton. You can look on this one web page and see your status of your projects.
Put a little pin right there. That's excellent. Transparency will be more than a slogan.
That's right.
Citizens who want to know where we are with the program, they'll have access to information because of the mechanism that you're setting up,
Right.
so that they will know where we are.
Right.
That's
really,
very, very important.
It's really double transparency because we're going to do it for the entire county, but each individual city has taken this banner.
course.
They're doing their own web page.
But
which
you
is,
see, folks want to know what we're doing in our role
That's
as
right.
coordination.
That's right.
As coordinators. They know that they can hold their mayors responsible for the city's transparency, but they will also want to know, we want to also be able to have access to information with respect to how Fulton County is coordinating and administrating and administering this program. And you've already indicated that not only staff but equipment and support
Right.
has been planned for that purpose, so the people will know.
That's right.
Mr. Long, it's just amazing what people do not know, people who are trying to find out. And so I think everything that you and your staff are doing to make transparency a reality is just really encouraging.
Thank you.
And it's got to be in this particular program, because it might have been a half penny, but folks went back and paid for the T-SPLOS.
They did.
And so I think it's reasonable, that they would know exactly not only how the funds are being administered in their city, but know what Fulton County, what we're doing in that regard. That's very good. It's a very good aspect of the program. Since we paused very briefly, we might tell folks what T-SPLOST stands for.
All right, so let's do that real quick, because it's a little confusing. So we have several SPLOST out there. We have
SPLOST every day.
LOST. So
yes.
T-SPLOST is simply Transportation Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax.
That's pretty straightforward.
So
isn't
it's
it?
just like the E-SPLOST, except replace the E with a T, right?
Yes. Okay. All right. Go right ahead.
So we've got
What we got coming up, Todd? Because the clock is ticking on me over here, and I'm going to try not to talk so much.
well, we got
I'm going to try.
What's we got coming up in transportation? So let's not forget we do have T-SPLOST, but we also have a regular transportation program.
And that's important,
Right,
Todd. We have more than T-SPLOST. And we made some commitments, didn't we?
we did.
Let's talk about that and how all that fits in right quick. And I'm not going to interrupt again.
Right. So we're in negotiations now with the city of South Fulton. A lot of the projects outside of T-SPLOST, like local assistance resurfacing, those require matches, the old LARP. They call it LMIG now, but
Yes.
it's essentially where the state gives us X dollars and we have to provide a match back to the
That
state.
program. We've had
So
that for years.
That's right. And now that falls on the shoulders of the city of South Fulton to actually fund those dollars out of their
see.
budget.
They don't. No funds come to us for them on
No,
that.
because the lost money, not the T-SPLOST, but the lost money now goes
Yes.
straight to the city instead of coming to the county. So they've got the proceeds to fund those matches. So lost, we've
see.
got a double roundabout project at Butner,
Yes,
Stonewall Tail.
yes.
That's coming down the pipe. It should have that ready probably in 2 or 3 months. The match on
Good.
that, though, is a 20% match. That'll have to be paid for by the city of South Fulton. So we're in negotiations now with the city of South Fulton to sign separate small agreements for these little projects that are not in T-SPLOST but are the regular transportation program. And we do also it should be let everybody know the city of South Fulton does not have a transportation department.
Right. Just like they don't have a police
They
department.
contract through us.
Yeah,
So
okay.
all the roadway maintenance, the folks that during the storm that picked up all the debris, that got the trees out of the way, that cut the grass,
Public works.
that fixed the potholes, that's our public works staff.
Yeah.
So those are still
We contracted to do that
those
for
are
them.
still Fulton County employees.
Yes, they pay us
That's right.
to do that for them.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what's coming up?
So what's coming up for us is, of course,
Fulton now.
in Fulton County.
Yes.
So we've got a
Got
number of,
FIB out there in District 6. What's coming up for them?
well, for FIB, they've got a project that this Community Improvement District, it's called Boulevard CID, and I think you've had them on the show
Very
before.
dynamic
That's correct.
CID.
They've got a landscaping project that's coming up with
We just
sidewalks.
approved it, Streetscapes.
The streetscape project, which is going to be, it's one more step to make that area really a lot more walkable and sustainable.
Well, it sure looks better.
It
and
look-
that's because we've invested heavily out there, and the CID stepped up and helped.
They sure did.
Yes.
We are very
It
fortunate.
doesn't look like it did 10 years ago.
It doesn't. Now, there's still a lot of work to be done, and there
Whole lot.
a lot of new development has to come, particularly
Yes.
around the interchange, and that's going to come. There's a lot-
Hopefully with good jobs.
there's a lot of interest, that's for sure.
So LARP is coming, but LARP is coming to the cities.
Well, we'll
The
have
state money for roads, the cities will get that money, but they'll have to put up matching money for it.
right.
Will we continue to get state LARP money?
We will. So
And we'll have to put up the
That's right.
matching money for the counties.
we'll have to do that for the piece on FIB because that'll still be unincorporated Fulton.
Yes, we'll have to put up the matching money.
That's right. It's a small amount, but it's still an amount and much needed. I mean, people think of Fulton Industrial Boulevard as just the main road,
Yes.
but there are a lot of side streets.
A lot of people own those side streets
and the
too.
side streets get torn
They
up.
pay taxes.
The
Yeah.
businesses that pay taxes. So you've got all these trucks coming up and down these small streets. So there's a lot of resurfacing needs in that corridor, to be honest, that are outside the boundaries of the main 4-lane roadway.
Yes, that's an important point
And
to
we're-
make to
And we're very fortunate. GDOT just did resurface Fulton Industrial Boulevard. It's looking a lot better than it did. But the side roads still need a lot of work. And,
we can thank the CID for a lot of that.
they
'cause
pushed
really
real
worked
hard
with
on
us
it.
Yes,
They did.
yes. Well, now, Todd, what are some of the things that you'd like to be sure and close out with to let let constituents know about?
So-
Any announcements? Anything juicy coming up?
Well, I want to talk about transit a little bit. And
I'd appreciate that.
Transportation in general, it's not just roads and bridges. We know that. It's much more than that. And So we're doing a countywide transit study. We're right in the middle of this study. We should have the results by the beginning of December.
Who is we?
So the county has taken the lead on this, along with all the cities helped pay a match to the study. But the Atlanta Regional Commission funded a grant for us to essentially do a transit study for Fulton County, and we are in the middle of that. Matter of fact, we've had several public meetings all over the county, having public meetings in South Fulton really as recently as last week and this week. So
That's a hot item. I wanted to be sure to get on this program.
Right. The
some very strong feelings about transit in District 6. And
Right.
so that's going to be important. They're giving us a signal, Todd, that time is running out. But what would you like for folks to know about that transit study? What's going to be the next step?
Well, the next step is let's see what some of the modeling gives us based on the potential revenue for levels. So if we did go out and seeking like a 0.25 sales tax, what could that raise in revenue? And what would that get you? In other words, what kind of routes does that get you on Fulton Industrial Boulevard, on South?
And we'll be
Parkway?
going back out to the public with that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Todd. I hope that we were able to get some of the important information out that you needed to get out. And we certainly are going to continue to provide strong support from the board standpoint in meeting the interests and needs and concerns of our citizens in this area. I'll be back in a moment with closing thoughts. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge with appreciation the high quality of assistance and support that Fulton County has received from local, state, and federal partners with respect to this program, and also with respect to all of the concerns and interests that we share together to protect the health and safety of all of the people of Fulton County. That's all the time that we have for today's conversation. Until next time, stay strong. To learn more about today's conversation, you may contact me at 404-612-8222. That's 404-612-8222. You can also email me at emma.darnell@fultoncountyga.gov and visit us at emmadarnell.com or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.